haircut is the long layer. Again, there's going to be 6 sections, and this one has a stationary guide, so the guide is not moving throughout the head. Your standing position is going to remain relatively the same, and yeah, the guide doesn't move. All the hair is going to be coming to the guide. So let's get our 6 sections in. So again, we're going to go apex to the top of the ear, which is our radial section. When you get that radial section in, the easiest thing to do then is to go from center eye, hold your thumb so that the comb is being brought right to your thumb, and you'll get a nice clean section every time. And same thing, center eye, bring it back to your thumb. My thumb moved. There. Okay, so there you have your section 1. And then in the back, you're just going to follow that section right back, and that creates your 3 sections in the back. Okay, there it is, 6 sections. So we're going to do stationary guide. We're going to start again in this top section. So this is long layer. I'm not looking to make these layers really, really short. In fact, I want to keep them long, hence the name of the haircut. So a good way to judge where you want your layers to fall, so ask your client where they want that first layer to fall. If you can kind of pinch it and then bring it down, so if they wanted to land just below their chin, that first layer, if I bring that down, that's going to be bang on to where they want it to be. Okay, so stationary guide, I'm standing straight behind my section, using the fine teeth and cutting. So once that one is cut, I'm going to take my next section, but I'm going to bring that hair back to the guide. Okay, my guide does not move, I do not move, but the hair is coming back to that section. Cut. Make sure that you don't cut right across, make sure that you only cut to your knuckle. If you're noticing that your sections are a little bit longer on one side, it's because you're cutting past your knuckle. Okay, again, hair is coming back. Depending on the density of the hair, you may actually have to use your coarse teeth for all this to get through all the hair. Using your fine teeth, that you might just find it too challenging. The hair is a little bit finer, you could do that. And it's all come to the back. So when you finish that section, when you check it, you're not going to have a line that goes straight across. In fact, your line should gradually get a little bit longer, which mine does. so it's getting longer as I go towards the front. So basically you cut horizontally, you check it vertically. So as I check it, I'm only looking for any corners or anything that I might have missed. So now we're going to go into this back section. So I'm going to take my guide, that first piece of hair. So this is my guide for the whole haircut, that doesn't change. So I'm going to take up a section of hair, and the hair is coming up to that guide. There's my guide, and I cut, and cut. Make sure you're hanging on to your scissors. Don't put your scissors down in between haircuts. Palm your scissors. And you're going to run out of hair. There's nothing there for me to cut because the layers are getting longer. Okay, when you finish that section, always check it. So we're going to hold it out. And what I should see is that the hair is gradually getting longer, which it is. Perfect. Okay, so now the right side in the back. This babe has already had some layers in her, so there's not going to be a whole lot to cut in through this section on the side. Yeah, there's really nothing there. It should just, again, keep gradually getting longer, which it does. Good. So now I'm going to work on this side. So again, I have to make sure that my standing position is directly in front of that section. Bringing everything up to the guide. Standing position is so important. If you're standing too far back, too far forward, you're going to end up either longer or shorter than you want to be. Again, there's not too much there, and we're going to let that fall. Okay, the next side I'm going to do, I always go right, left, so I'm going to go back to the right. So my top section, I'm dividing it in half. And again, I'm pulling everything up. Now, to be careful, because this is not stuck. Again, it's not a straight line. It's going to have a little bit of an angle to it. So your finger angle should be that little bit of a diagonal. You might be hanging on to a lot of hair. Just make sure that you're only cutting the hair that's between the tip of your finger and your knuckle. Okay, if you have to regrab it, it's perfectly okay. In fact, you should. Okay, next section, we're going to bring it up. And we'll just check it, make sure she's getting longer, which she is. And this last section, is coming up. Now this time the tips of my fingers are actually at the back of the section, right, because it's reversed. And I'm going to go through and cut, just making sure that I regrip it. And there's nothing left for me to cut. It's all there. It all came up. That's it. So the only thing that's left is going to be your perimeter, your exterior. Okay, so we are going to pump her up for this. Okay, and we're going to tilt her head forward so that you're working at a 0-degree elevation. Because there's a lot of layers in the hair, you don't need to worry about sectioning it, you know, section by section as we would for a blunt cut, but we should section it, again, the apex forward, that radial section, so that you're only dealing with the back. This is just a good safety precaution too, so you don't accidentally take length that you're not supposed to. You don't want to move. Again, you want to stay directly behind your section. We're going to go in and we're just going to take off those little ends that are there. And all the hair is coming back to me. I'm not holding the hair out here and cutting. My elbows should be tucked nice and close for this whole section. If you notice that your arms are starting to go wild on you and you're starting to hold hair out further, what's going to happen is you're going to take the sides shorter than what you want them to be. So make sure that your elbows are tucked in nice and close, okay? So once that back section is cut, again 0 degrees, we're going to work on the front section. So apex forward. So I'm going to show you 2 things. The first thing is, if they just want a little bit, we can take a little bit this way. So from the apex forward, I'm going to go in right in the center, and I'm just going to point cut a little bit, and then I'm going to connect it to the side piece. I do not want to connect it to the back. I want to connect it to the side. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Let's say she wants to have a lot more layer through the front. So let's say she's saying, well, I like the length of my layers, but I think I'd like a little bit more through the front. I would advise that you don't take a radial section forward. I would take a fringe section. So I'm not going to go as far as the apex. But I am going to create a bit of a triangle here. I want to make sure that I'm not making pieces too short through this section. I just want those short pieces to be around her face. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of slide cutting. So let's say this babe says, yeah, I think I want my layers to be about that short in the front on my face. So I'm going to say, okay. Now right now the hair is wet. If the hair is wet, you want to make sure that you're using not too much tension, because it is going to pop up a bit when it's dry. The other thing that you can do is you can always do this technique dry if you feel more comfortable. Okay, so I'm going to just take it to about here, and I'm going to cut into it. That's my straight across piece. Once I get that piece done, I want to slide cut it into my length. So for slide cutting, you're going to start right where that piece comes out, and you're just going to lightly, I have a good tension on the hair that I'm holding on to, and I'm going to just open close my scissors little tiny bits with very little pressure. By using a little tiny bit of pressure, I'm not going to cut right through the hair. If I use too much pressure, I'm going to go, I'm going to take that right off, which I don't want to do. Okay, on this side, same thing, just wait until that guide falls out there, and very, very light pressure. Open, close, very, very, very lightly until you get to the ends of the hair. Okay, and that's going to just blend that through a little bit. So whenever you're doing from short to long, slide cutting is usually the best way to go. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to take down some more of this hair from the sides, and I'm just going to make sure that that blends in as well. So again, I'm going to come in and just do a little bit just to get those little ends off there. Make sure that it all connects nicely. Okay, and then the same thing on this side. Take that down. So again, not too much pressure. If you apply too much pressure, you are going to take a hunk out of the hair. Your client's not going to be happy. Okay, and then last but not least, you just want to make sure that these sides and back are all connected. So I'm just going to turn. Okay, and so there is just that little bit of a corner happening right in there, and that's okay. You're just going to go in and you're going to take that out so that it connects to that back piece. So that is your long layer with the slide cutting along the face, which most clients are probably going to be getting some slide cutting if they're getting a long layer, because the layers are so long. If they want fringe or anything, you are going to need to do that. So for this haircut, remember it's a stationary guide. When you're doing the perimeter, make sure everything is at 0 degrees. There's a lot of over direction in this because the guide is stationary. You're over directing all of the hair. When you go to do this at home, what I'd like you to do is I would like you to take a little video of doing this top center section, the back center section, and your slide cutting in the front, as well as your perimeter. If you guys could do that, that would be great. If you run into any issues and you need some help one-on-one, just let me know. I'd be glad to walk you through it again, but hopefully this will make for a great reference for you and will help you to really hone those skills that you've been working on all year. Thank you very much. Stay healthy.